All right, let's get some confetti if you can hear me. Man, welcome, welcome, welcome. How is everybody doing? Man, let's get some confetti in the air. All right, let me get myself situated here. All right, Ben, how we looking, Ben?
In my way. That's how I was looking.
Audio good, camera good. All right,
So silly.
You have to follow
all
these
right.
guys so they can get.
I see you over here. What's happening?
So just let you know the world is set to nearby, so we cannot hear you from the stage. And everybody can hear me fine. Is that good? Everybody can hear me fine. We get some confetti if you can hear me.
Hmm.
All right.
Oh,
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
absolutely.
All right. So, Ben, where you going to set up? You can stay right here for now. Okay.
I'm sure right
All
here.
right. So, if everybody can take a seat, we'll go ahead and get the show started. First of all, what do y'all think about the set? Can we get some thumbs up for the set? So, big ups to DeVeo Technologies for helping this come to life. Man, it's been a
Okay.
long time coming. Super excited. So, all right. So we're gonna roll. All right. So I've got the thumbs up from the production crew. All right. So, man, wait, hold on. You know what? I'm sorry. I need to record this moment too. Let me get myself situated. Hold on. All right. That's better. All right. So first of all, man, so welcome, 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 man. Season 5 is officially underway. Man, let me tell you a little story, and I won't be long-winded. I promise I'll try not to be long-winded. But this world started from a place of frustration. For those of you that don't know the beginnings of Meta Talks Live, the only reason it became a thing was for two reasons, right? One, I needed a quiet space where I could hear myself think, but also get to talk to some of the amazing creators on the platform. But two, I left the build feeling frustrated. And as a creator, I felt not worthy to create in this space, which I don't get that feeling very often. But I created this space from a place of frustration. But I've got to tell you, honestly, it is the most impactful thing for me personally that I brought to light in the metaverse. It's just giving me a way to really listen to stories of the amazing creators, understand why they do the things, but also give them a safe space in order for them to tell their story. And today's going to be no different, right? The show's been gone since April 2nd, 2023. I can't believe it's been that long. So we're talking about a year and a half since the show's last show. And I understand the majority of you, if not any of you, remember what this show meant to the community, but also meant to the people that grace the stage. And again, I hope tonight and this season will be no different. We are going to be streaming live well, not streaming live. We're recording the show, and the show will be placed every Tuesday at 9 p.m., with the exception of the Christmas Day week and the New Year's Day week, where that show will be streamed on Monday, just because it's a little bit too close to the holidays. But other than that, we'll be here Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, every single Tuesday for the next 10 episodes as we get through season 5. Man, but I'm super appreciative of you all being here. Again, I like to say you all could be anywhere in the metaverse, but you've chosen to be with us here right now in order to make sure that our guest has the right spotlight and attention she needs to tell her story. So with that said, man, first of all, let me welcome everybody. Bernice, Cyber, how you doing? Pretty Ricky, Fro, Jen Smash, who was in the coin. She's probably listening. She's probably cooking something on the stove, or making that turkey sandwich. Prenora, welcome. Thank you. Yada Queen. Thank you, Mike Ferrari. I think that's Warfeather in the coin. So thank you, Warfeather. Ken, appreciate you coming through. Landon, Beneficial, and Keysman. And Ben, thank you for the stream today. Recording is going to be provided by Beneficial Games. So Beneficial. So it will be up on the YouTube page in about 2 days. We're going to give a moment to do some post production to make sure we present the best product for you. So let me shake off the rust here. Shake off the rust here. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. So I would like to introduce to the stage. So I met this young lady. I met this young lady on in the world. I think she was cussing somebody out. Maybe not, but I'm sure one of those stories that she was. Um, but just an immense amount of energy, immense amount of talent. And I gave her a bit of advice through a DM in order for her to help her business for the path that I knew that she would take and make an impact in this space. Goddess, how you doing, Goddess? Thankfully, she listened. She didn't have to listen, but she chose to listen, and her journey ever since has been a nonstop roller coaster with the impact that she's made in this space. Many of you know her from some of her platforms. Many of you work with her, and if you haven't worked with her, I'm sure it's only going to be a matter of time before she circles back around and gets to you. But it is a privilege and a pleasure to have her kick off season 5 just for the impact that she's made in this space and the amount of work that she's taken in taking care of people, which is also a core message of what the brand MetaClean does, which is create, love, inspire, and add value. And I think that she's hit every one of those categories. So, without further ado, I am going to turn the stage over to her and welcome to the stage Tinkerlove 1980. Tink coming out to the stage. Let's get some confetti. Let's get some confetti.
Hey, yo.
Hi. Hi.
Tink,
Hi, everybody. Hey, Rue.
how you doing? So
I am
listen,
doing good.
first of all, welcome to the stage. You are kicking off season 5, so no pressure. We will be
Yeah, no
recording
pressure
on
at
two
all.
separate cameras. But again, I'm going to turn the stage over to you, and the next hour is all yours. So enjoy the show, everybody.
Woo. Hi, y'all. Well, first of all, I want to thank my sisters, Goddess and Ferrari, for being in my ear and helping me breathe right now because anxiety hits. I suffer with it real bad. So I needed to breathe and I needed to thank you, y'all. I'm okay now. So I know that this is not your normal ask question, give answers. You're here to tell your story. So a little bit about me. I was born in Brooklyn. Um, I was very fortunate actually. My mom, she worked 2 jobs. I went to private school. I went to an all black private school on top of that in Brooklyn. And it was an experience. Culturally for me it was weird because my grandmother is black, white, and Indian, and she really does not identify with her black side of her. So in her house it was like I couldn't watch the Cosby Show or stuff like that. Like even when Living Single came out, and she said it straight out her mouth, "I'm not about to watch an end show." So that's how she felt. So going to an all black private school where we don't celebrate Christmas, instead we have like the Tom Thumb wedding. We don't do Halloween and stuff like that. Like Black History Month is all school year for us. Like we have musicals on Marian Anderson and Phyllis Wheatley. So I got to get a lot of knowledge. So it was my culture was just kind of mixed up and my life was funny because I was this girl in Brooklyn. Brownsville, Brooklyn is like one of the hardest neighborhoods in Brooklyn. And you got to be tough to be from there. So here I am, this cushion girl from what everybody on the outside sees. And I have this mom that works her ass off to make sure I have everything I need to have. I'm the child that goes to FAO sports. I have a fur coat. I also had a father with an addiction. So he was a hustler. He was a very smart man, but very stupid because for the life of me, I'll never understand if you not a drug addict on a Monday, what the hell would make you do it on a Tuesday, knowing the side effects. So, but he made a choice, and in his choice came other people's choices. And I think sometimes as parents, we don't get that our choices is a whole domino effect of other people's choices and what's allowed to happen. So my father was a very possessive person when it came to my mom, and he was one of those call bomb threats into her job just to make her come out so he could fight. Like he was super aggressive, but my mother, I am my mother's child. We are pit bulls in a skirt. You feel me? You raise your hand, I'm gonna raise mine higher. So my mother was never gonna back down from that shit. So it was like a lot of that going on, but there was a lot of, cousins and things like that that was in my family who parents were going through the same thing. And because my mother, one of her jobs was being a social worker, she would make sure her nieces and nephews were placed in her house. And it wasn't just you're gonna live with me, it's you're gonna have the same life as my child. So we was all in ballet and tap and instruments and all of that, going to Broadway, Rockettes and all that stuff. My cousins had the same experience. But sometimes the mentality of people is, but you have this. And in my head, I'm like, you're envying something. You have no idea what goes on behind the closed doors when y'all are not here. It's the yelling. I can't take loud noises. I have terrible anxiety because of it. It was always some friction going on in my house, so I can't be overloaded. I get overstimulated, it's a trigger, and I'll shut down, or I have to come away from the noise real quick. So having those kind of experiences led to other experiences, and I've spoken about it before. It's a lot of people who call themselves a victim, you're a survivor. During that time of my mom working and my dad, only time he would be on the fire escape is to stalk my mother, kind of bullshit my life, right? Um, the days that I actually needed him there, he wasn't. So I had to fight through learning how to adapt to being a survivor, never being a victim. And people ask me often why I hate material things and why I'm not a materialistic person. I had a cousin that lived in Baltimore that is the most sadistic person I've ever met in my life. And every time he would come visit, because of all of the beautiful things that I cannot afford myself because I'm a child, that my parents got for me irritated him so much, it was torture beyond torture. So it made me hate anything that had value of money because it's a material thing, because it made someone become such a monster that I still have night terrors about this one person. You get to actually have more than one, but it's night terrors that goes with that. So I went through a lot growing up, but for everybody on the outside of my life, it was just like, oh gosh, she has this beautiful life. She grew up in Germany and her parents have her. Yeah, no, that everything that glitter is definitely not gold. So I had to learn to overcome a lot of stuff because I felt like this can either make me a promiscuous drug addict, or I could put a jewel in my crown and call myself the most resilient fucking black girl in the world. And that is exactly what I did. And I learned to still be able to love people in spite of the trauma that I went through, because it wasn't my cross to bear. I didn't make the mistake. That person made a choice. And it was a choice of another adult that was supposed to protect me. And I could have even taken that and said, I can hate all men. I would have absolutely every reason to. I promise you, I have every reason to do that, but those other people didn't do what these people did. So I overcame a lot of shit that was meant to tear me down. And I think that's why it's important to me to connect with people, because I know my triggers. I know I'm healed, but I'm still a very triggered person. I still have night terrors. I still have anxiety. I still can't take loud noises. And I know if these things are still into my adult years, people around me have to be going through similar things. So I tend to treat people how I want to be treated, because I don't want nobody to trigger me. I don't want to trigger anybody else. So I'm strong as fuck. So when sick, I got sick at 34. I had a beautiful career. I retired from working with children on the spectrum, children and adults on the spectrum, and I worked in the private sector. I was 5 months away from opening up my own group home, and I got diagnosed with an illness called anti-synthetase syndrome. It's an autoimmune disorder, and it is very rare. Every 1 in 100 million people suffer from what I suffer from. Um, and I got diagnosed in North Carolina, so it wasn't a place that was really top notch at Duke University. I mean, they were good, but they weren't top notch. And I was going through a lot being there. Hold on, y'all, because my thing is acting crazy. There we go. All right. My bad. Okay. So, they had me on tons of medication while going through chemo and IVIG infusions. They had to put a port in my chest because my veins are super just fucking thin. So they had to put a port in my chest. And they gave me this shot called Lupron that was supposed to protect my ovaries, and it didn't. It sent me straight into menopause at 34. I didn't want more children, but it was a difference between not wanting them and having my options just completely flattened out. So I had to deal with that depression of that, and dealing with having an illness on top of an illness, because it's like that monster woke up other monsters. It woke up interstitial lung disease. I have 9% lung function. I was on oxygen for a really long time, CPAP machines for a really long time, and I chose that I was not going to live like that. But it was depressing at first because I was 5 months away from reaching a goal that I had set for myself, and I'm a perfectionist. So it was like, I was always a person in control of my life. Like, I learned that at a very young age, nothing was going to control me, not rape, not anything. But this was something that I could not control at first. And I didn't know how to not be okay. So I crumbled. And they had me on medication that did not make it any easier. So they had me on Dilaudid, they had me on Percocet, they had me on Wellbutrin, Seroquel. So they're mixing pain medication with depression medication plus the freaking chemo. My body was like kaboom. It was a lot going on. And I'm in a hospital for like a month and a half. My son is staying with my neighbor, and my ex is checking on him. I wind up having my brother come down, and I'm like, I have no control here. Like, this shit is not me. Like, it freaked me out to the point where I was pushed to wanting to reach out to New Jersey for a right to life. I was like, I don't want to live like this. I don't want to be this responsibility on anybody. My mom still has life in her. My son is in junior high. Like, I can't put me as a responsibility on everybody. Like, that's how I felt. And I was like, but I gotta fight back. Like, it was one day my son was playing basketball, and this is when I came home from the hospital, and it was a EMS truck, and it freaked him out. He ran from the basketball court all the way to the house. And I was like, what the hell? I'm thinking somebody trying to fight him. My sister-in-law, my brother were living with me at that time, and I'm putting on my sneakers like, what happened? And he was like, I thought they were coming to get you. And it shook him up so much. I was like, if I don't leave North Carolina, I'm gonna die in this house. I'm taking my medication and I'm drinking, and now I look like my dad, and I hate any parts of him. So I need to get this shit right. So I called my mom, and I was like, Ma, I'm gonna die in this house. She was like, What are you talking about, TT? I was like, Ma, I'm not okay. Like, mentally, I'm not here. I don't even know me right now. I went on a date with a guy that I would never. I know I'm losing my shit. I need strength right now because I have none for myself. She was like, Come home. Came home. She had adopted my two youngest nieces, and one was autistic, and I had to pour into her, and it kind of started waking me up a little bit, and I was like, I'm not completely dead. There's a little spark in me. Okay, let me work with that. Let me try to work with that. So I started doing research on the medications they had me on, what can improve my lungs. I found a pulmonary rehab to work out and build my lung function back up, because I was like, I'm just too cute to keep walking around with this oxygen tank. I really am. It was cramping my style. So I was like, I need to not do that. So I needed to find a way to get the hell up off of it. So I did. And then I became diabetic because of the steroids for my lungs. And I started researching that that was what was causing it. So I tapered myself down off of it, got myself off of it. And when we celebrated Teen Day last year, I had put that video clip in there of me walking out my endocrinologist's office like I don't have it anymore. Like, I work my brain because that is like the strongest shit on me. I can think everything. So I was like, I just need to think my way out of this. So, and that's what I did. And I kept pushing. I just kept pushing. I had too much to go with. So I rearranged everything with the medications and all of that. And I wound up switching out all my medication for straight marijuana. I started doing marijuana therapy. I went to the dispensary. I gave them my whole list